Hey, welcome to the eve of Christmas Eve, captive audience. It is December 23rd,
Eve Eve.
Friday, and I'm Sunny Danforth in Northeast Oregon. And my ho 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 co host, David Darnell, is back down in Southern Oregon. And I'll tell you, out here, we're at like 15 degrees.
56 degrees in Southern Oregon.
So
So
here you are.
help.
Perfect
So for
climate.
everybody, yeah, everybody to the north and to the east, help is on the way because the Pineapple Express is coming in from the southwest. Southwest, and it's bringing warm temperatures and rain. So for everybody who's frozen in Northwest Oregon, you should be warming up here rather shortly. Though having lived in the Willamette Valley, Northwest Oregon for so long, I have seen a few of these cold things where the valley fills up with cold air from the gorge. It slips out from Sunny's place and fills up the Willamette Valley. And every day the weatherman says, "Yeah, well, it'll be gone today. It'll be scoured out by warm." And I've seen
Right.
it, last for 10 days. you
Yeah.
know, where it's
Remember the
50.
ice storms of last year?
Yeah, where it's 50 degrees at 3 or 4 thousand feet above the valley floor, but it's 25 degrees on the valley floor. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe you have a little bit more of this stuff to go. But man, I saw pictures today. You see the pictures out of the Willamette Valley? That just solid. The roads were solid sheets of quarter inch,
Yeah.
2/3 of an inch. Some places a half inch of ice.
Accidents all over. In fact, I was just looking at Facebook a little bit beforehand, and a mutual friend of ours had posted a picture. And here is a truck towing their travel trailer.
Oh, I
On
saw
days
that.
like this, you don't
Saw
tow your,
that.
and it's across the roadway, a 2-lane road. It's like,
I saw
what are
that.
you thinking? What are you
I
thinking?
saw that. I think somebody forwarded the idea, Sonny, that either they didn't want the trailer anymore, they couldn't afford the trailer, and so they figured they'd take it out and crash it and get the insurance money.
Oh, I didn't see that part. But I'll tell you, these days, nothing will surprise me. Very
Yeah,
little, very, very little. As we were talking about before we started, what do you believe these days? There's so much.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was my opening statement when we went live. Is I don't know about that. There's a Keenan Thompson did a Saturday Night Live skit. It was called Silver Alexa, and it was Alexa for old people like me, right? And throughout the skit, Alexa would tell him something, and Keenan would go, "I don't know about that," And I find myself today saying that about just about everything I hear. I'm not sure, straight out of a Bible. I'm not sure what I can read in it, that I know to be true or that I know to be factual. Because, as I'd mentioned to Sunny before the show, spin and propaganda is not just a product of the left; it is also a product of the right. Everybody wants their point of view to be foisted upon the masses, and are willing to, shave things and bend things and polish things up a little bit to make the case for their side. And we see that all the time in clickbait, right? We see
Right,
these wild headlines, and then we look at the story and go, "There's nothing here. This is a nothing burger," you
right.
know.
Oh, there's a
So
lot of clickbait out there. Oh my goodness. In fact,
yeah,
speaking of clickbait, I got something. It's not a clickbait thing, but a few days ago I posted about our hummingbirds and the feeder and whatnot. And
yeah,
other people posted about their hummingbird feeders and it's cold and whatever. I never searched for hummingbird feeder warmers or anything like that. So last night on my feed pops up a company that has hummingbird feeder warmers.
oh nice,
Now, I never searched for this. This is just those wonderful little algorithms, right? Of things of our conversations that
hmm,
they're picking it up and wanting and then sending us the advertisement. And actually, the company is out of Washington. And so I was showing my husband, I go, this looks pretty cool for very little money, and it's designed for that. I think I'm going to probably get one. And I could make one, but you know what? I can also help a company. He's back. I can also help a company.
I got separated from my coffee.
All right. Sell something. I
So,
can get
yeah,
something from you.
I think I'd like to have one of those.
Yeah. And so, but talking about things that something you could believe. You can believe that Governor Brown is now pardoning mass traffic tickets. And so after Governor Brown released nearly 1,000 criminals early during the pandemic, and this month spared the penalty for 17 death row inmates, now she's going the extra mile. This is a story at an Oregon watchdog. The extra mile by sparing traffic tickets for Oregonians. And the reason she's doing this is apparently Wednesday, she signed an order forgiving unpaid court fines and fees related to certain traffic violations that led to license suspensions. Well, in 2020, Oregon Governor Brown signed into law House Bill 4210, which prohibited license suspensions for non-payment of traffic fines. So you can just rack up all the hell traffic fines you want, don't pay them, and you're still not going to lose your license. Well, these people were left in limbo because these existing non-payment related licenses were still in place. Suspension, the related license suspension. So now these are the ones they forgave the debt, blocking these people from being able to drive lawfully. So there you are. That's something you can believe that our governor, our current governor, did.
Well, I guess I won't be so worried about traffic tickets anymore.
Right? Right. And so let's see, what does that do to your insurance if you've got a ticket? You don't pay it. Is there a record then of it? I don't know.
Well, they turn it over to collections, so there's a ding on your credit record if you don't pay it. But
well, wait a minute, is it? I mean, I don't know.
It is.
These days, I don't know. Then another one.
They also take them. The state will take them out of your. If you get a tax refund, if you're like a W-2 employee, if you get a tax refund, they'll take them out of that as well.
Oh, there you go. Then
I don't know that.
Why did she have to pardon all of these people if they were collecting them somehow?
Well, I think, I'm not even sure, Sonny, I disagree with the premise. I'm not, personally, I don't think that driving is a privilege. That's what I was taught, and that's what everybody said, and all of my friends taught their children that driving is a privilege. Well, in my opinion, why is driving on a road that my taxes paid for in a car that I pay for, maintain with fuel that I pay taxes on? Why is that a privilege? I don't think it's a privilege, personally.
I don't either. I think it's a right, since it's my money who bought my vehicle, and I can go drive the car as long as I'm, it is
so,
a right.
Why should you,
but maybe
revoke
these are parking tickets.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had a moving violation in more than 30 years.
I wish I could say that.
Yeah. And it's really weird because I drive really fast. A lot.
You drive a lot.
I drive a lot. I drive really fast a lot. Sometimes felony speeds, though I've been usually driving my truck, which is not really felony speed, vehicle. But I have driven felony speed many, many, many times, and I've never had a speeding ticket in the state of Oregon. I had a speeding ticket once in the mid 80s in Montana. It cost me $5, payable on the spot. But I guess my point is, I'm not sure how the government thinks it has a right to limit your travel. Because you don't pay for their damn fines. Personally, I don't think there should be speed limits, but that's the way I am.
Well, it's kind of goes, you drive for conditions and you drive for your ability. I'm all for
Yeah,
the autobahn type speed driving. I used to
yeah.
race,
And out,
and
yeah, out there in
so
your neck of the woods on 84.
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, hell, you can drive 90, 100, 120 on that thing and not be even the least bit dangerous. Um, not, I don't think I topped 120 on that road, but I was driving, 100, 110. And it's not like I guess nobody else was driving as fast as me, but it's not like everybody else was driving speed limit either. There was plenty of people going 85, 90 miles an hour. So,
Okay, so the next topic is, how about the city of Milwaukee is the second city to vote. The Milwaukee City Council voted 3-2 to ban gas piping to new residential buildings after March 2024, and unanimously approved a measure to begin replacing gas systems in city buildings with electrical energy.
right.
And I'll
Costing the
tell you,
taxpayer more.
this goes to, if you're not liking what's going on in your community, you better get involved and show up and speak out against this type of thing. So, of course, the region's largest natural gas utility expressed disappointment. That would be Northwest Natural.
I can
They
imagine.
expressed disappointment in the lack of scientific analysis and public engagement before the vote to remove an energy option from residents. And I know that, I keep an eye on I live in a small town, but I still keep an eye on what is going on in our community. I look up the agenda. That's what's going to be on city council. And if I see something, ooh, I need to pay attention to that. I'd like to go learn more or speak out or whatever, you know. Yeah, that's what we have to do. And yeah, I know no gas powered cars. 2035, an unelected bureaucratic agency passed that the other day, which we had talked about. So I think that's an awful thing, and it just really is.
Yeah. Well, while I think that be regulating your driving habits, I think that any time government regulates your choices, especially for energy, especially for a heating energy that is both more cost efficient than electricity and cleaner than electricity for the most part. That's just an over. The government should not be doing this. I mean, government
That's a
at every
monopoly. That's a monopoly.
yeah. Well,
That's
government at every level in Oregon is really not working for the people. It's ridiculous. If I
well,
lived
you're
in
right.
Milwaukee, I would probably spend some time making sure that anybody who voted for that in the city council was not reelected. And if I'm not
100%.
mistaken, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, some of those elections may occur in May. I know school board elections do, and I think some city councils do. I'm not sure, but man, I would get on that. I mean, it's ridiculous. I have natural gas at my house in the valley, and and if you have natural gas, it's always kind of been the thing. If you have natural gas available, you install a natural gas furnace and an air conditioner instead of a
Yep.
heat pump. Because it's cheaper to heat your house with natural gas than it is with electricity and a heat pump. And
That's what we have at our home.
yeah, and it is pretty darned inexpensive, really.
It is.
And this is going to hit this is going to hit people where it hurts, and that's in the pocketbook. And I understand that people who have gas will still have gas, but this is a step in that direction. This is a step in cutting off the whole valve to the whole city, right? Because we want to be clean and we want to be climate environmentally responsible. And it's not government's job to do that for you. It's not government's job to limit your energy choices. It's not government's job to do
No.
99% of the things that government feels they should do. And
Yes, and we have then we have power outages, and you have no alternative heat. at all when you've got power outages like we did last year for 10 days, 11
Right.
days, and whatnot. So, it's not a good thing at all. And as Anna says, gas is one of the cleanest energy choices. Well, it is a pretty
Yeah,
clean energy source, and it's
damn
not
clean.
going anywhere. It doesn't.
Yeah,
It takes a real disaster to have your gas not be available to you. A
yeah,
real disaster.
yeah.
So
I would love to have natural gas down here where I am, but natural gas, out in the rural areas doesn't, usually it doesn't get out that far out. So, unfortunately, people who
right,
people who heat with other than electricity out here use propane, and that's ungodly expensive. So, which I know firsthand because I have
you have a lot. I know.
10 million BTUs worth of, greenhouse heaters or something like that, or maybe more. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
So another story that I'm posting, this is a letter to the editor in the Democrat Herald, and it reflects on Measure 114. And it says 114 won't curtail a single criminal. And those in
Nope.
Portland, Eugene, and other liberal bastions have made a significant error in voting for gun control Measure 114. The first result has just happened. Each year, the East Albany Lions Club raises money for children's causes, sight, and hearing charities by hosting the January Gun Show at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center. The proceeds of table rent goes towards helping those charities. Not anymore. It's lost revenue to the Expo Center as well. So Measure 114 kills gun shows as it stops all lawful gun show firearm purchases that were legal after passing an FBI background check. This is due to the additional Measure 114 requirement for a costly special permit and training prior to even being allowed to buy a firearm, a previous non existent requirement that was foolishly added to this measure. So, how many firearm stores and supporting businesses and employment will be destroyed by this sappy measure?
Yeah.
Well, it will not curtail a single criminal or lawbreaker in any way whatsoever. We don't need the Portland Eugene Kingdom mentality to control all of Oregon. And that is from Gary Hartman out of Lebanon. And kudos to Gary for writing that. And the Lions clubs do great things helping people, and helping kids and what. And now their probably biggest fundraiser is now off the table for them. What a shame.
Yeah. Well, the left has hated gun shows forever. They believe gun shows are just some sort of flea market for criminals who buy guns and then use them to go shoot up schools. And of course, none of them ever been to a gun show because God, I mean, imagine how
Right?
dangerous it must be going into a gun show. All
Yeah.
those guns. I mean, I've been to several gun shows, and it's amazing that everybody walks out alive, given all the guns that are at these gun shows. But I think the letter hits it on the head. I will say this, and probably some people might take issue to this. There has been a couple of mass murderers who bought their firearms legally. But by and large, criminals don't go buy their firearms at gun stores.
Mm-mm.
They don't.
Mm-mm.
Um, and it's not going to stop the criminals. And it's unlikely that it's going to stop, the people that do evil. I mean, the fact of the matter is liberty and the freedom to own firearms and the freedom to purchase them is not safe. Not because of guns, but liberty and freedom are not safe. If these leftists want, of course, this is probably what they really want. If they want safety, then they need to live inside of a prison because it's pretty safe in there. They
If
can't
they
get
want
out.
safety, you eliminate all gun-free zones,
Yeah.
and you
Well,
just
yeah.
let everybody have one, eliminate all gun-free zones, and
I agree.
I'll tell you, I think when guns are around, I think you have less problems.
Yeah. Yeah. There are very few gun-free zones to me. The only gun-free zones that I'm aware of are the ones that I have to walk through a metal detector, only because I don't have a polymer firearm.
Yeah.
And I don't
Well,
think that I should. I don't think that I should be. I don't think I should be disarmed when I get on an airplane. So there.
yeah. Like I said, no gun-free zones.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I absolutely have no problem with that. And so, frankly, a person would be pretty foolish to have a gunfight in an airplane. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't think
pretty
any.
foolish.
Most people are not going to have a gunfight in an airplane unless you have to have a gunfight in an airplane. I mean, if you got
Right.
hijackers and they're cutting people up with box knives, I'm going to shoot them.
Absolutely.
Penetrate
Absolutely.
if it penetrates the cabin, then it does. The fuselage, what are you going to do? You can't stand by and watch people die. But
No,
I,
no, you
I
can't.
agree that more guns mean more safety, and these I don't understand. I don't understand why they. I mean, I do understand it because I know what they're after. They're after a disarmed populace. I mean,
Yes,
that's
they
what you have to do to control the populace. Is you have to disarm the law-abiding people that are most likely to shoot and kill you if you try to tyrannize them. And that would be, most people that I know. But if they were concerned about criminals, why don't they just go take the guns away from criminals?
They're not concerned about the criminals. They're
I don't think
concerned
so.
about the everyday citizen and all of the arms that we have. And I've shot competitively. It's been a little while now, but I used to shoot competitively. I really enjoy that. And if I
It looks like it'd be fun.
give myself some more time, I will go do that again. In fact, there's a gun club that has a 22 rimfire shoot, a 22 silhouette shoot every month, all winter long. So
Really?
they do it and they give away awards and whatnot. And I see their pictures posted on the Facebook page and I just go, kudos to them. Yeah, it's over in Pendleton. And that's some hardcore shooting at small little targets. Depends on how far you're shooting, how big your target is getting, and
Right.
those are tough shoots actually to
Yeah.
try to shoot something accurately from a standing position. You're not on a rest or anything like that. Offhand, shooting, and it's tough. It is. It's tougher than you think. So,
Well,
what have you?
I'd like to see these people. I forget his name, Pastor Mark from Augustana Lutheran, and the other people, the other leaders of the community that sponsored 114. I'd like to see them just go out into the community and disarm the criminals. Maybe get the Portland police to go with them and just go out, take a list. I mean, there's lists of criminals, right? Take a list, go out there and disarm them. Why don't they do that? Because it's dangerous. You know, pisses me off.
Yeah, yep, yep. So, hey, what have you heard about the Kerry Lake trial?
I don't know.
Okay,
I,
so
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. And be honest with you, man. After that, full forensic audit that apparently didn't change the outcome of the election, I just kind of turned off everything that's going on in Arizona.
okay,
The only thing it really did for me is it crossed Arizona off my list uh,
ah,
of
well,
places I might want to escape to.
what they have actually found is that that the trial has brought out is there was printing of ballots on two sizes of paper, on 20-inch paper and 19-inch paper. and the judge allowed them to take a very small sampling and uh, and look at the ballots and they actually found from several counties that they had two different sizes of paper. And it's the ballots that were printed on 19-inch paper were not, I believe it's the 19-inch paper, that was not able to, the machines weren't able to read it. And and there was enough of this happened in the small sampling they were able to look at, that this would have changed the outcome of the election. So the trial judge is expected to rule on this case before January. So I just posted a link from Just the News, and it looks like it was a printer setting was changed on election day. And it was changed by a third-party person. It was by a tech acting independently of the county election department. This is actually really big news because why did it happen? Why? And then so that's the one thing. Another thing that this brought out was there was no chain of custody. Apparently, state law in Arizona is the ballots are supposed to be counted in the precinct where you go vote in person. And also they had no ballot issues up until election day, which the Republicans typically vote on election day. And so it was only election day that they had these problems happening. So they were supposed to count the ballots in where people voted. Well, they didn't. So that broke state law. Then Jarrett, who has, I think his name is Jarrett, their election person has not Hobbs, but someone else had said that, yeah, it was Jarrett. He admitted under oath that there was no direct examination. There was no they didn't count how many ballots were in the site before they transported them to wherever they were supposed to be counted by the machine. So they'd have no proof of chain of custody. There's many errors in this. And so it is apparently there's 70 of its 223 vote centers experienced ballot printing issues on election day. Now, Maricopa County has said that, but Kari Lake has said in her lawsuit that 132 of the 223 voting centers had issues. And so this is actually a big deal, this chain of custody, and that they didn't follow their election person admitted, basically, we didn't follow state law. And if you don't have chain of custody, if you don't count how many ballots are there, how many people had brought in ballots that were already filled out and dropped them off, they had many processes that they should have counted that they did not. And this didn't happen only in one place, it happened in many places. So this is really a real big deal that they are not following law. You know, I've worked in our county's election on an election board for a number of years. And you know what? It's check, and double check and recheck. And if it's off by one, you know what, however many ballots are in a batch versus the master sheet, let me tell you, our elections manager is looking to find that one. Mm-hmm. And so for them to be so lax about this is truly alarming, in my opinion.
I understand that was a close election.
Yeah, it was a close election. And so, in fact, 14 out of 15 ballots, this was a Kari Lake's cyber expert said, 14 out of 15 election day ballots that he viewed were printed incorrectly. And so this is enough to have changed the election. And then their election head said they had the very same problems in August of 2020 primary election, the November 2020 election, general election, and the August 2022 primary election. They
Really?
had the same issues and they didn't fix it. It wasn't just a one-time issue. So they've been doing this illegally for for quite a while, at least 3 elections by their own admission.
They're consistently either incompetent or cheating, in other words.
In other words, so we're going to see what this judge comes back and says that, with this. And her expert has said, no doubt, Kari Lake would have won the election without the Maricopa County election day chaos. So, hey, you know what? We'll know hopefully before January the outcome of that.
Yeah. I would imagine they need to get on it. Has that election been certified?
That election has been certified, and that's a problem, to knowingly certify an election. In fact, one county, I don't remember which one, was threatened with getting arrested if they did not certify their election.
Really?
So their election director was threatened with getting arrested. So he or she, I think it was a he, but I'll just say they certified it under duress and made that statement that it was under duress.
So Arizona's an R+4 state. Are their elections being run by Democrats? Is that the problem?
I don't have enough information to say one way or another, but it sounds like, the gal who was their elections director is a Democrat. I mean, she was just got maybe elected as governor. So it could be the Democrats are running the elections over there, despite it being a Republican state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a pretty good chance that's the case. It's shows you how important it is to pay attention to other than top of ticket.
Yeah. So it's there you are. It was a very close race. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it seems to me like it was less than 20,000 votes. I want to.
It was something like that. I don't have the number, but it was something like that.
16 or 18,000 votes out of must be way more than Oregon, and Oregon had about 2 million votes. So
I'm looking at this article. So it is 17,117 votes is the difference.
That's close.
Yes. And when they are estimating between 25 to 40,000 voters were disenfranchised because of the vote centers having problems and the ballot tabulator machines not counting the ballots and all of that, that's enough to change the election outcome.
Yeah.
So I hope that the judge has the fortitude to do the right thing and follow the Constitution of Arizona, the voting laws and the Constitution of Arizona, and say, you know what, let's have a redo.
Yeah, well, that's always our greatest. It's always our greatest hope for the judges will do that, since the other elected officials don't seem to care about the Constitution.
Yeah. Oh, Lori says, did you hear about an explosion at a Dominion data facility? Nope, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah, I see Bobby says it wouldn't surprise me. Well, it wouldn't surprise me either. Hey, listen, on a different note, there's always people organizations or states or agencies that are saying, you know what, we're gonna not use this type of language or whatnot, right? Well, Stanford University has come out. Well, Stanford University has come out with this list, and I was just about to post the wrong thing, so let me correct this. And
there are words now, Sonny, that just make me cringe every time I hear them. Like
yeah, me too.
like democracy. Anytime anybody says
Yep.
democracy, I just cringe. The word
They're
equity
trying to make everybody think we are a democracy, and we're not. So Stanford University
we are. There's a problem.
Pardon?
We are is the problem.
We're a representative republic.
No. That is now completely contrary to the founding documents, now 100% driven by popular vote. 17th Amendment.
Okay, so these harmful terms that Stanford University has come up with, the term American, they say it implies U.S. is most important country in the Americas. Immigrant.
Which is true.
Immigrant refers to people by single characteristics, and brave perpetuates the stereotype of the noble, courageous savage. So they've also, so the terms that have made their naughty list also are bury the hatchet, chief, low man on the totem pole, and spirit animal. So in that article that I just posted, it is Stanford University is now walking a lot back. They're trying to backpedal, going, oh no, this was just an internal memo, you know, for our IT people and whatnot. And I'm going, oh yeah, censorship at its finest. We're just not going to allow this term. We're going. I have no idea how they're going to apply it, but as Lori is saying, we got to stop allowing others to tell us how or what we can say. And I 100% agree with you. You know what? I do not subscribe to political correctness language, and I don't subscribe to the pronoun. Oh, what's your pronoun thing? You know what? No, not at all. Not at all. Not going to go there. You're not going to force me to use it either.
Yeah. Well, same with me. So it's no wonder our show's been kicked off of YouTube. Right?
Right.
Take your pronouns and stick them where the sun don't shine. I learned all of the pronouns from my English teacher because pronoun is a component of English. So and you don't get to make them up.
No. Okay. Now I got two more things and we're done. And that is, I want everybody, I'm posting this because we've got to push back on the Disney. Disney did and made a movie, an anti-parent movie, and it's been diverted from theaters. And this movie, so Jason Williams from the Oregon Catalyst wrote this, and he says that before you watch a Disney film this holiday season, please consider what quietly happened earlier this year with their controversial film Turning Red, and why it was one of the worst film Disney's ever produced. It is the most anti-parent kids film ever made, and was not only made by Disney earlier this year, but specifically targeted the film to 8 to 12-year-old audiences. And then, likely fearing parental backlash, they diverted it from the theaters and put it directly on Disney Plus streaming, where fewer parents would notice it. And this, I'm not going to continue reading this, but they have he says that there is an anti-parent message about once every 5 minutes in this film. by the character in there. And, there is a very much a concerted effort to undermine family units and getting control of the kids. And, so we're just wanting to bring awareness to that. We can vote with our dollars by not supporting certain businesses. And you know what? I grew up on Disney. I love Disney things. And there's going to be some old classics out there that are going to still be very good. But then again, there's a lot that I don't listen to, watch, or participate in because I don't want to give them the credit of airing it or the support that I'm viewing that. So I'm just want to bring that to your attention too. I think more people need to follow that as well.
Okay. I won't watch any Disney.
Okay. I bet that's, like no big deal.
I like Mickey Mouse.
Yes, I do too. And
Fantasia. I like those.
yeah.
But yeah, and Disneyland was one of the best family vacations I ever took. And unfortunately, just everything's turning into a pile of crap.
Well, it is. It is. And one other story I wanted to bring your attention is Governor DeSantis in Florida. He has actually succeeded in convening a statewide grand jury to look at COVID vaccine injury. And I think that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. That is a big deal because nobody else seems to care about that, or at least nobody else that can bring it into the public's attention on a larger scale. Certainly, the pharmaceutical companies are not real. They don't have a lot of interest in investigating that. And I have a pretty good feeling, though, again, going back to what we discussed at the beginning of the show, it's hard, who do you believe? Pharmaceutical companies would still have you believe that it's everything's perfectly safe and no one is being injured at any significant percentage or rate. But and then I lost my train of thought. That's what happens when I have too many commas. I shouldn't put that many commas in.
When DeSantis has his Surgeon General that he had appointed, Joseph Ladapo, they have faced a lot of criticism because of the guidance that they have given towards the COVID vaccines in the state of Florida. And Governor DeSantis has not. He's not an anti-vax person, but he is an anti. Let's take a look at what we've got here. And the injuries and all of that. And so they have impaneled an 18-member grand jury that's going to meet for a year. And I'm really happy that he is doing that and there has been now 2 other states that are following along with what Florida is doing regarding the vaccines. And they've done their own research into looking at the data that the vaccination companies had provided to them to see about the safety and efficacy and all of that, because there's been a lot of high claims out there on the efficacy of these shots. And I mean, so much so they even had to change the definition of a vaccine so this could be called one. And I think there's a lot there, and I just really am glad that they're taking a look at it, and I think it will help all of America, quite frankly.
Yeah. Good for Governor DeSantis for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see any downside to that.
No, I don't either. So, hey, tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and I just wish that everybody to be safe this holiday. If you do not have to go out in the foul weather, don't. The roads are slick. and be safe. Have a good time with your family, and just enjoy the holiday. It is a time of giving and reflecting. We have a lot to be thankful for in our country, a lot to be thankful for, even though we bring a lot of, how do you talk about politics and then have feel good, right? As David had said earlier.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think it's probably healthy for people who are involved in politics or who pay a lot of attention to politics to take a break from politics, because politics is it's ugly and dirty and nasty, and there doesn't seem to be anything good about it, unfortunately. But yeah, we have still the greatest country on the face of the earth to live in, and hopefully we'll keep it that way.
Yeah. Yep, I'm praying that we do. So God bless our viewers, and I just wish David that you, Karen, and your family have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas.
Well, thank you, and the same to you and your family,
Thank
and
you.
to everybody that's watching.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, good night. And Kevin will be here on Monday and Tuesday, so he's working on. He'll be here, and we'll be back next week.